What's up, broadcasters? Welcome back to another episode of Branding Banter, where you can get all that nerdy news you need to know about. My name is Jeff Franklin, National Accounts Manager with Headwear USA.
And I'm Meg Erber, Director of Sales and Performance. Top 100, number 3.
I love it. I never know when y'all are going to throw in your extra, kudos that you get next
It's
year.
The banter. It's the banter.
And then Sarah Goshgarian Unruh with Stalls, National Sales Manager.
Well, Sarah, I don't know if you know this or not, but I can actually see the backstage while the video is playing, and I saw you bobbing your head and getting down with the music, and I'm sure you needed that little upbeat music to keep you awake right now with all the jet lag. Where in the world is Sarah Goshgarian Unruh this week?
I am in Thailand this week.
Thailand.
I know. This is my daughter's senior trip. And so when my kids graduated high school, I started a thing that I take them on their first international trip. And so here we are in Thailand. So
I love it. I want you to be my mom.
Okay.
Well, here's the thing. It's weird. I had to point it out like early in the broadcast because we can see a window behind you. We can see a window behind Meg, and obviously the window off to my side here. So clearly you're in a different time zone.
For sure. Yeah. It's pitch black behind me. Yes.
Well,
yes.
Yeah.
So what time is it there right now, Sarah?
So it is 10:15 p.m., which would be 10:15 a.m. I think 11:15 a.m. for you guys because you're East Coast.
Yeah, Eastern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was a pre-recorded episode.
Like a whole day. So 12 hours.
You're actually in the future right now.
I am.
Well, just give it another 2 hours, and you'll literally be in tomorrow.
Yeah, there you go.
And
I know. It's
we're
so
just
crazy.
starting today.
We're such dorks.
It's so weird. It's like totally screwed my daughter up. Like she literally had like a mental breakdown, like an anxiety breakdown earlier because she's like, I don't even know what day it is. I don't know what time it is. I don't know where I'm at. So
yeah, it's hard to hold on tight because coming back really sucks.
Yeah. It's okay. I'll see you in Chicago then whenever we get back. So it'll be great.
That's insane.
So when Sarah can't go to bed and she's still up at 3 a.m, then you know why.
There you go. Well, listen, this episode is actually we're changing things up again a little bit just for a week. All right, we've got one more ASI episode here that we're sponsored by ASI, and look, we've got Chicago coming up. I know this episode's airing on the 19th of July, so it's next week, guys. July 23rd through the 25th, as you can see down there on the screen. But a little bit of ad read here as well for you. So with the global promo marketplace becoming more interconnected, savvy North American distributors and suppliers are interested in learning more about international promo businesses who are strategic, respected, and reputable. Promo Alliance is an initiative between ASI, PSI, and Germany, and Sourcing City in the UK. It's a platform to promote networking and a sharing of industry knowledge and data on the global level, believing that leveraging reciprocity of ideas in the international promo marketplace makes us stronger, smarter, and more successful. So make sure you go to promoalliance.com to get exclusive data on promo markets in North America, Europe, and the UK, info on global trade shows and events, assistance in networking with promo professionals in other countries, access to webinars with top professionals and global promo markets. And listen, for more information, reach out to Michelle Bell at ASI, who's been covering the international promo marketplace for 25 years, and it's mbell@asicentral.com. So yeah, looking forward to ASI Chicago. All three of us will be there, and it's going to be fun. We might even record a podcast while we're there.
I think we should, because we'll all be there together. And I love Michelle Bell. I literally cannot wait to see her. So I'm super excited. But I'm really excited about this topic today because, if you are a longtime listener, you will know that the banter has really started and revolved around our fantasy football team. And I don't think I got enough recognition last year for actually winning our fantasy football league. So
it's a perfect time for Meg to freeze.
Oh no, am I really frozen?
You were.
You're back.
Okay. So as I was saying, I am the fantasy football champion of last year. So super excited about that. I don't know when we're jumping in and what. I think it was because of the where I started draft. I think it was the first, right? I had the first pick in the draft. I do in our other league too, Jeff, this year.
Yeah, usually we, whoever finishes last drafts first. And there were a few years there where you were in the top 1, 2, third pick of the draft. So I mean, you had several years to really make a go at it. So,
all right, well, maybe I had some help this year.
but anyhow, we weren't talking about fantasy football and running off a minute and a half off the clock, but we're going to talk about the NFL, and fantasy obviously ties into that, and we'll get into that a little bit. But we want to talk NFL. It's coming up. A season is upon us. With the extended season that they do now with the the extra weeks. Super excited. I don't know about y'all, but I watch Hard Knocks, and getting ready to watch some preseason stuff going on, and then getting into the season. But listen, how do we want to kick this off? I mean, there's a million ways we could go with talking about the NFL. We could talk about their marketing strategies. We could talk about how they're using promo, how they're using social media, because obviously we've hit content creators and things like that quite a bit, and I've definitely seen them use that. I don't know.
Why don't we start off and just talk about the history of promotional products in the NFL, and then we can go from there. So the use actually of promotional products in the NFL actually started back in the 1920s and 30s. And it was actually limited to buttons, pennants, and basic apparel like hats and scarves. And it was just given at the games. So fast forward to the 60s and 70s, they saw a significant expansion because it was starting to be aired on TV. So the introduction to television broadcasts brought. Did he leave? Okay. So basically, he's still here. So it brought NFL games into millions of homes, which was increasing fan engagement and the demand for team-related merchandise. So during this time, you had trading cards, posters, and more sophisticated apparel. So, and I think it wasn't until 1975 when the Steelers came out with the terrible towel. And this item really became an iconic symbol for fan support, and it modeled for other teams looking to create their own signature promotional products. I know you were very quickly trying to find them, weren't you? You were trying to find.
I was trying to find my terrible towel because I feel like that's like one of the first promotional products in the NFL was the terrible towel. Myron Cook's terrible towel.
Yeah. I think it really, marked like the name, right? I think before, I mean, everything else now we consider it to be part of a promotional product, but I don't know that then we did, right? So I think it wasn't until the 70s, as you said, and that terrible towel, everybody knows about it. And regardless, I know I've been to like a Dallas Cowboys game or Patriots game, and even if you receive like a towel from a different team, it still doesn't, I feel like, have that same effect. So although I'm not a big Steelers fan, I will just lay it out there. So they're not my team, but I do think they did a fantastic job with their
Who's
merch.
Your team, Sarah? Who's your team?
I wish this was an easy answer. So I would say the Patriots, right? Like my kid's dad, like he was from Boston, so he followed. So it's hard. My son didn't have a losing team. But here's the thing, like I grew up in Houston.
I know.
So
I was
an Oilers fan growing up, right? And so when you're an Oilers fan and then they left to go to Tennessee, the Titans, you were pissed. But when you grew up as an Oilers fan, you weren't a Cowboys fan. Those are like rivals, right? Yeah. Like you just don't touch them. So then whenever, the Texans came about, I wasn't really in Houston as much anymore. Mm-hmm. And so New England had kind of became my team. So
fair enough. I can tell you they love when I'm up here and I wear my Phillies gear. They're like, go home.
But I like watching football in general. Like you could put on any game and I probably know a few players on any team. And I
know enough to win me a fantasy football league, and that's
there you go. There you go.
No big deal.
She won one time after drafting first for like 6 years in a row, and then wants to talk trash.
Too easy. It was just too easy against
I rely on my kids. I have to say, I'm like, all right, because they follow it right from draft and whatever. Like they're super into it. So
yeah, I have a VJ.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things. But I know. So how many of you guys have jerseys?
I do not. I have t-shirts.
I've got like 40 jerseys.
Okay. All the same team?
Not all the same team. Most of them are Steelers, but I've got some Washington Capitals hockey jerseys as well.
Another awful team.
I don't have no. I do actually have a couple Rams jerseys because my dad was a Rams fan.
Okay.
So I've got a couple Rams jerseys to watch games with him and stuff.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I bought a $10 t-shirt off a guy in a park, and it's like, no one likes us, we don't care. And I'm like, I just wear it everywhere, and that's how I represent. It cost me $10
I
at
love
the parking lot. I loved it.
it. Jeff, since you have the most jerseys, did you happen to buy a jersey from Fanatics a couple of years ago whenever that whole hoopla came about?
No. Listen, I support China. I look, I brought probably 99.9% of my jerseys in directly from China. I don't know how anybody spends $300 on a freaking jersey. It's ridiculous. But I don't know if you guys noticed this or not. They used to be like $300 or $400 retail. And ever since China started, like people started bringing them in directly from China for like $30, like the store retail prices have gone down on jerseys big time. They're like $150 now, half of what they used to be.
I still won't pay that much.
Oh, it's still way too expensive.
Yeah, I remember when we were at the Super Bowl last year, the one guy had this jacket, and I was like, "That's a really cool like memorabilia piece. I would never wear it." Right? It was like a Letterman jacket, but it had all these really cool patches, and it was almost a $300 jacket. And I get it, the decoration alone probably cost $300, but I would never wear it. But it was a really cool piece to take home from the Super Bowl. So, but yeah, and I think that's a really you brought up a good point with the Fanatics debacle because last year, 2023, they experienced significant backlash, and it was because something went viral on TikTok, I believe, right? And it was people were showing how crooked the imprints were, and that's huge because that's a huge misconception that if you are printing, something for the NFL, like it's just going to be perfect, right? That doesn't mean that the quality is going to be great. There's so much that goes into it with licensing and the decoration aspect of it. And I think the licensing in general is just such a painful experience. Sarah, I know you talked about that too. Do you want to, before the show, do you want to talk about that, and then we'll get into the licensing with Fanatics?
I was just gonna say I heard it happen more to Kelly Green, so that's probably the reason that the Eagles lost in their Super Bowl. So just kidding. I'm sorry. I had to take it. The door was open. I had to walk through it. So I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Well, Meg's team couldn't win the Super Bowl, so she had to win her fantasy league.
So she had to go win. Fantasy
so let me just make a quick comment of how I've had to eat some humble pie since then. I was at a national event with SNS last year, and Nolan, being a Kansas City fan, gets up on stage and is doing a chant. So I decided to get up out of my chair, walk up on stage, interrupt his chant, and do an Eagles chant. And my voice was cracking, and the whole company saw that. And then I had to go sit down, and then we lost. So yes, I had to eat the humble pie. So I put myself out there, and it was bad. So I am still embarrassed by that. Well, I will try not to put myself out there like that anymore.
So the other thing, completely random, just came up in my head because I forgot to mention this to you guys when I saw it. But my wife and I were driving not that long ago, and we drove by a couple dudes, and it was at the airport. We were at the airport, and there was a couple guys in the airport that were wearing the Dunkings jumpsuits.
No
we talked about.
Oh, really?
And I was like, I've never actually seen one in person, but like watching them in the airport, like travel together in these things, it was kind of funny.
Did you take a picture?
So of course, this was the reason I bring that up and how that relates to the NFL is because the Dunkings jumper suit was it was one of the commercials for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And so that's another way that obviously promo is included or obviously used with the NFL. But it was super weird to see one of those.
So no picture? No picture?
Nah, I didn't get a picture because we were like on one of those walking escalators and they were going the other way, and I couldn't grab my phone fast enough.
Oh, you didn't want to be that guy and be like, "Hang on, wait, I need a picture, please."
I definitely should have. But no.
All right.
So the NFL, they do.
You want to talk about that and what happened and how they fixed it? Or I mean, I know they were crooked, misaligned logos, graphics on various apparel items, including jerseys and hats. So there was major quality control failures, which can happen anywhere. People are human, right? It just happens. It's really how you fix it. I know it had a huge impact on their reputation. I know they issued public apologies. They promised to improve quality control. They offered replacements and refunds. Overall, I think it really highlighted the importance of the stringent quality control because the consumers pay a lot of money for these pieces. They expect top quality. And when you produce crooked logos, like that to me is just unheard of in retail. And this is really considered retail. So I think it really highlighted the importance of quality control in the sports merchandise industry. And I know it led to many discussions about the reliability and trustworthiness of large-scale merchandise providers. I know we've been hearing about it nonstop throughout the industry. I don't know. You guys have anything to add to that?
Yeah. So the rumor mill says that the printers of those Eagles shirts were actually out of Kansas City. That's why they were all crooked. Because
well, you know.
I love it.
All right. Well,
I love it. But I think that's why they became much more. I don't know, but I think the NFL just in general, right? Like they're pretty stringent about getting a license, and I think that's a big misconception. A lot of people think is that like, oh, I got this logo, let me go ahead and put it on some items, and so there is definitely the need to make sure you go through the process, and it's not easy. It's not a short process. It's rigorous. They want to see your book of business. They want to make sure they see your quality. They want to know other companies that you work with, for example. And so there's a whole process to go through to be able to print legally anything that has, an NFL logo on it. So just in case people don't know.
And that's the other thing too, is that all the teams sort of operate independently as well, even though they're under the umbrella of the NFL. And the way that I've personally experienced, and that's, I guess I should ask each of you, like what you've seen come through in the promo space for NFL or NFL teams. But how I personally see it as a supplier is we actually do a lot of hats for some NFL teams through distributors, but a lot of it's co-op. So it's a local store in that area that's doing a hat, and the Eagles are, their logo's on it, and they're just sponsoring it. So it's a co-op opportunity.
Okay.
So what about you guys? What are you seeing?
I saw bobbleheads. I think a big program for bobbleheads. Gosh, a lot of apparel, obviously. I mean, being on the SNS side of things, I was doing Eagles, Phillies, Flyers, all tons and tons and tons of apparel, even some Washington teams I had to deal with. So yeah, the terrible towel. What about you, Sarah?
Yeah, I mean, stalls we see, and we do some of the NFL stuff, right? So like the NFL Combine for No Bowl, like stalls were the ones who decorated that gear. And so we have to make sure we adhere to their strict policies that they put in place as to what can go on to the garments with their logos, right? So they really want to make sure quality wise, they know what's happening from top to bottom with those garments. So that's really important. So,
all right, we have less than 30 seconds left. I have a quiz for both of you. All right.
I have a quiz too. So then I'm going to throw it back at you.
Let's do it.
All right. I have the top 5 biggest NFL teams with the highest promotional product spend. Can you give me one of the top 3? It should be pretty easy, but give me one of the top 3.
I would say the Chiefs.
Okay, and who, Jeff?
I said Dallas.
All right, Jeff is the winner. Dallas is the number 1 team. And actually, Sarah, the Chiefs weren't even on the top 5.
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe Dallas, San Francisco. Dallas, San Francisco.
The Steelers.
Patriots, and Packers. Cheesehead. So, yeah, there we go.
The Packers.
Yeah. Right. They were the craziest fans. And then I really got to know.
Yeah. I think they're small but mighty, right? Like, that's what I always think about. Like, we're like super loyal type of fans. All right. I'm going to throw it back at you guys. Okay.
Let's do it.
I got to scroll. I'm sorry.
All good.
And here we go. All right. So what are some of the, we'll go top 3, the strongest, most impactful campaigns that the NFL has run?
I was looking these up earlier too. Okay. The Nike one?
3.
Okay. Well, all right. So the Pepsi Super Bowl halftime show? No.
Play 60.
No.
All right. How about the Bud Light Team Can?
No.
And then my last one, I'll go with Gatorade, Sweat It to Get It.
You guys are way off. You're thinking like specific. Think like broader. So Super Bowl merchandise is number 1.
Oh, okay. I was thinking way too.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah. Number 2 is salute to service.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That makes sense.
And number 3 is breast cancer awareness.
Oh, yeah.
That's huge too.
If you think about from a promo perspective, right? Like they change it up and they do these different themes that then become really impactful. And there's a lot of people who go out and buy.
And that's a good point. actually, because we did patriotic merchandise a couple weeks ago, and that's where it would line in when they do that salute to service, because they do.
Yep.
They made a very big push to support veterans because there was some backlash on some other things. So I appreciate that. But yeah, so maybe we'll see some promotional merchandise at Chicago next week.
I'm sure we
I think we'll see a little bit of it.
You know, just a trade show floor of it, maybe even.
Yeah.
Maybe.
All right. Well, listen, since you brought up Chicago, of course, it's next week, ASI Chicago. Looking forward to it. We'll see you guys there. Come say hi. But look, with the global promo marketplace becoming more interconnected, savvy North American distributors and suppliers are interested in learning more about international promo businesses who are strategic, respected, and reputable. Promo Alliance, an initiative between ASI, PSI in Germany, and ASI, or I'm in Sourcing City in the UK, is a platform to promote networking and a sharing of industry knowledge and data on a global level, believing that leveraging the reciprocity of ideas and the international promo marketplace makes us all stronger, smarter, and more successful. So go to promoalliance.com to get exclusive data on promo markets in North America, Europe, and the United Kingdom. Info on global trade shows and events, assistance in networking with promo professionals in other countries, and access to webinars with top professionals and global promo marketplaces. So for more information, reach out to Michelle Bell at ASI, who's been covering the international promo marketplace for 25 years. It's mbell@asicentral.com. And yeah, if we don't see you at ASI Chicago, you missed out. Sorry about it. But if we do see you there, great. And if we don't, until next time, guys, we'll be seeing you. Have fun in Thailand. Jesus, get out of here.
Yeah.